What movies would be a lot shorter if the main character just did what the fuck they were told? Finding Nemo edit, and The Belle of the Ball. Star Wars. Yoda creeps me out, this kid does, Qui-Gon. Train him you should not. Qui-Gon oh, okay. The Exorcist style in all films involving a Ouija board. Don't play with Ouija boards. Okay. Frozen trolls, your daughter will be fine. Don't be fearful of her powers, because fear leads to destruction. Parents, we understand. Also, even though Anna lost her memories of Elsa's powers, keeping them away from each other for literally no reason would be just cruel, so they can continue to play together so long as we set some ground rules to ensure safety. The end. Fear is bad. Teach her how to use her gift. Let's isolate her for the rest of eternity and teach her she's a goddamn monster. Fear is bad. Immediately shows Elsa a horrifying hallucination. Everyone blames the parents, but forgets about this part. Grand Poobah friggin' scared everyone shitless. Definitely the first Cars movie. If McQueen decided to listen to his team and went into the pit stop, the movie would be already over. Edit, okay, I decided to watch that scene, U2.B, again, so he did make a pit stop but he refused to change his tires. That's even worse than I remembered. Always bothered me. He's a professional driver, had been a champion for however long, but they try to spin it as his hubris getting the best of him? It doesn't make any sense. If he were as competitive and skilled as they made him out to be, he'd know how to win. To be fair, in Cars 1 it's McQueen's rookie season. Skyfall. Bond, you are decommissioned. I'm a head out. Sweet, early retirement. 28 days later, if the animal rights people listened to the scientist at the beginning. Pretty much any disaster movie if the government listened to the scientists at the beginning. John Wick. The car's not for sale. Okay, cool. Just asking. Edit, many people have pointed out that I answered the question incorrectly. You're right, my mistake. John is the main character. Or even just, hey, I live in a city with a ton of mercenaries. Maybe I should call and get a background check on a car's owner. The Truman Show, the movie, would be much shorter, while The Truman Show, the show, would enjoy many more seasons of high-quality programming and blockbuster ratings. I was gonna ask if they really made a series, then I realized that I am an idiot. Spoken like a true Truman. The entire Bourne Identity series. If he just shot the guy on the boat, he would never be in that mess that he got himself into. Alternatively, if they just left him alone, he'd be causing zero problems for anyone. He's living peacefully in another country with his girlfriend, sir. That bastard. Kill him. Fails to kill Jason Bourne. Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne, why is he here? Labyrinth. Babysit your brother. Main character doesn't go on a drug trip for 2 hours. But then she never would have met David Bowie. But then she never would have met David Bowie's crotch. Fifi friend. His balls were mesmerizing. First Blood would just be a movie about a Vietnam vet taking a walk if Brian Dennehy didn't pull a U-turn and give Rambo a hassle. He drew First Blood. I don't know how to spell it, but your sentence needs more slurring. He drew you first blew it. That's John Rambo. You're doing Rambo, Frank. That's not the first time you've described your life in the way of John Rambo's life. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Just go to school, Ferris. How could he have possibly been expected to handle school on a day like that, though? He did have a test that day too. That wasn't bullshit. It was on European socialism. I mean, really, what's the point? I'm not European. I don't plan on being European. So who cares if they're socialists? They could be fascist anarchists. It still doesn't change the fact that I don't own a car. The cabin in the woods. The harbinger warns them to turn back, so they do. The end. Except that still probably means everybody dies. The tire blows out. The only driver who passes by offers them a lift, and it happens to be in the direction of the cabin. Back on track. Now taking bets. Pretty sure that was one of those they have to have a choice moments and they would have been fine, but they would have found another group of kids to duck with that weekend. Breaking Bad. I can pay for your cancer treatment, oh thank you the man the end. Not to mention, working for Gus. He could have just stuck his head down, made his millions, and got out. Right, Gus offered Walter everything he wanted earlier. But screwed it all up for Ego and Jesse. Not to mention, had Walt never ratted Jesse out to Mike Gustavo, Jesse would have poisoned the drug dealers who killed Andreas' brother, the Fring crew never would have been the wiser. Walt never kills them brazenly and out in the open, is never threatened, thus never turns around and kills Gus. Star Wars, Luke just stayed home with his aunt and uncle, gets burninated. Even shorter, Yoda tells Qui-Gon to forget the whole Anakin thing. No Darth Vader, probably even no Emperor. Palpatine was already introduced to Anakin and sensed how powerful he was. So Anakin becomes Palpatine's secret apprentice and he becomes even more powerful than he was in Rots. Lord of the Rings. Movies wouldn't have happened if the original character just threw the ring in the fire. Elrond, cast it into the fire. Isildur, okay. Tosses ring roll credits. Elrond, cast it into the fire. Isildur, okay. Walks towards Edge ring, no. Isildur, okay. Walks away from Edge. Elrond, cast it into the fire. Isildur, okay. Perpetual loop ensues. Coraline. Babinski said do not go through the little door. She should have listened. Pet Cemetery. Cat's dead. Don't bury it over there. The ground's sour. Okay, roll credits as they show them driving to the animal shelter. He was never told not to bury it there, the old neighbor shows him where and how to do it. Stupid, frankly. Here, bury your cat here, it'll come back to life. No, don't bury your daughter here, it's bad. Zombie cat. May, cats are already evil zombie kid, are you nuts? But seriously, the book explains the pull of the place to get people to bury dead bodies there after you've done it yourself, makes a little more sense in the belief suspension you need to make. Great part of the book where it talks about a guy who buried his dead veteran son there, and he came back possessed by the evil. That same description of the pull is the thing that seems to make King adaptations so tough for me. I like the new Pet Cemetery, the new It, but books like P.S., The Shining, etc. It's tough to visualize the thoughts and the feelings that the characters are going through without being so blatant. But even so, the way the place seems to pull the strings just doesn't seem to come across like it does in the book. I think The Shining was great in that, if you didn't really think so much that the place was haunted and starting to possess Jack Nicholson's character, it was basically a film about a guy going mad. Granted, I read the book first, but that's actually what I love about The Shining. Jack really isn't a horrible monster. He has some bad anger issues, especially mixed with his alcohol abuse that led him to do some things he regrets. In the book, he lost a teaching position after getting into an altercation with a student. I can't remember 100%, but I think the kid was being a massive dick and he just lost it. All in all, though, he was trying to change and get better. He stopped drinking and took the caretaker job so he could get away and focus on his writing. The tragedy being the Overlook seizing on the darkness he went there to escape. I really liked it because even though he became the monster, at the end I just felt bad for him. The Overlook was like a shot of heroin into the arm of a recovering junkie, he never had a chance to get better. The horror movies where they say don't split up, but they do anyway. Also applies to most of my D&D sessions. In playing DD tomorrow for the third time. Glad to have this tip. I was wondering about splitting up today. 3 rules for you. 1. Don't split the party. 2. Assume the DM is devious enough to outthink the entire party twice over. Not only did he prepare this stuff, but a good DM will steal player ideas and run with them just as fast as player run off following red herrings. 3. If the DM ever asks are you sure? Stop and think real hard. He might be giving you enough rope to hang yourself on. As a GM, seconding the last one. If I think an idea is weird but workable, I'll try to work it. If I think an idea is really bad, I'll ask the question,